Hello, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, and breath family. Welcome to the title. I'm going to call this one Texas and the power of fasting. What's going on? Wait for some few people to pop in here. What's going on, breath family? If you're one of the many that always ask about what am I playing in the background, well, this time it is the subliminal breathwork that I just put out. I even put it out on IGTV, so you guys can get a taste of that. And yeah, try some breathwork before listening to it, and then close your eyes, fall back, and just witness. My old IG name came up. I don't know why. Greetings, brother. I don't know. So I want to talk about Texas and the things we take for granted. That's one. But next, before that, what even got me to this point was, I keep being reminded of this one of our members in the breath family that is 19 years old. She's 19 years old, and she's so immersed into the breath, and she's going to college. By the way, she's doing this all while going to college. She's learning as much as she can on the side when it comes to breath work and just being immersed in alchemy breath work. And every time I get reminded, it's so humbling, and it feels powerful just to be part of just such a young mind. And it's helping her well. She said it herself that these practices is helping her get through college in terms of stress and different things of that nature. But man, just imagine, looking back at that, I'm like, man, imagine if I was that well versed into what I know now. I can only imagine. And to help her and show her the quote-unquote ropes of the power of breath to bypass all the pitfalls you could possibly get into, that's the power of having a mentor, right? And I was like, man, if I had met my Sifu a lot earlier, man, even in high school, like, I can only imagine. But, I was already awakened, so to speak. I don't really like that word, because if you're breathing, you're awake, right? I like to use aware. Unless, I was quote unquote aware. I was finally aware of things. You can't hear me? Can you guys hear me? If not, I might have to redo this again. Might have to turn down the volume. Can you guys hear me or no? How old am I? I am infinity. I can hear you. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right. So, long story short, just imagine having all these practices and really building the frequency at such a younger age till now, right? Just imagine that. And to have her, she's been coming consistently, even to our breath family Zoom calls that we have once or twice a month. And, even everyone else in the room is like, wow, it's a beautiful thing to see such a young soul gravitate towards this, these type of knowledge, way beyond conspiracy theories, right? This is actually doing the work, elevating your frequency, understanding that you are a powerhouse. That's the topic that I'm leading into, quote unquote, Texas, right? So from afar, people may look at fasting, getting quote unquote healthy, as something far away from them, and some of them might be putting it off to the side. Later, I'll do that later. I'll get into breath work later. I'll do all that later, right? Texas hits. I have clients that are texting me. I didn't want to show the testimonials because it's pretty deep, and it felt very heartwarming to be part of those people's lives and their journeys and just life in general. Showing them the power of breath, showing them the power of fasting, showing them things like the Myron glass, showing them things like the Lark bottle that cleans water. These things that I look at, practical living. That's what I'm about. Practical living. And energy devices and the power of the breath. You know how many of those things came in handy during this whole Texas phenomena that's going on? That's geoengineered by God knows what. And coincidentally, now Kennedy is it Kennedy? I forgot which politician that did the whole global warming thing. But see, this is how out of touch I put myself away from conspiracies and things like that. You know, it's been such a long time. I focus more on how am I building up my energy. If that's a number one question you should always ask yourself. Is this helping me right now? Am I building my frequency right now? How is this helping me build my frequency right now? That type of mindset gets you prepared for anything. Now, let's look at Texas. Imagine all those people who don't know or have yet to do any type of fasting. They finally are put into a place where they have to fast, right? They just have to, because there's no food, there's no water. They have to do these things. And they don't even know about the power of breath and how it regulates the blood's pH levels and reduce stressful factors. The people who texted me made me so humbly, I don't even know how to put to words, but to have those tools in these dire times, it's powerful. It really is powerful. Some of them are even doing breath work in front of their family and finally getting their family into it, because what else can you do? What else can you do in certain situations? What else can you do? And some of them are finally converting some of their families, because like, damn, how is my cousin that's younger than me right now? That was one of the stories that I got via text. How is one of my cousins that's younger than me right now is so calm and relaxed and not panicking right now? Because if you're in panic mode and you're fasting, those two things is something you do not want to be in that frame of mind. You want to be balanced as much as possible, especially when you're fasting. Especially if you haven't done any type of fasting before. So people who do fasting, people who do the breath work, people who are aware of mindfulness in general, you're way ahead of the curve, because you know, some of you may look at Texas and say, "Oh, it's not happening to me, so oh well, that's on them. They manifested it, blah blah blah." And it's easy to say that because it's not at your doorstep, right? You know, so easy to say that, when in actuality you should step back and stop just being in that state of mind and have a different outlook on it and see what can you learn from it. Well, one of the things you can learn is, we realize from this that fasting and the breath work and knowing having these tools, knowing how to maneuver when these type of things happen, it's a powerful asset. It's a powerful asset to have. And that's something you can't just buy out the whim, because now you even have people with money with no power or anything, right? So who's going to survive? The person that understands how fasting works, understands the power of the breath, versus the person who's going to be in a frantic state of mind while deteriorating, by the way, because they're in that frantic state of mind while fasting, because they're not harmonizing their body to the point where it can self-heal to a faster regenerative level, and they don't have to worry too much about quote-unquote food, where it comes from. I have people texting me now saying, man, I'm happy I learned about urine therapy from you, because that's what I'm doing, and I'm feeling ecstatic, even with no power, even with no heat. Some of these things, including urine therapy, you may look at and however you want to define it. If you're not in that state of mind of understanding how powerful it is in the healing space and what it can do for you, if you're in that separation, you're not going to thrive. You are not going to thrive. And Texas right now is a good example of it. It's also teaching us while also having compassion for others as well in the meantime. And I just wanted to come on here and just share that with you guys, because all this knowledge when it comes to self-mastery and self-development, don't take that for granted. Because when times like these come, all these practices may end up saving your life. And that's the truth. This is raw to raw. This is real to real, straight from the heart. This is literally what I'm feeling from all these texts that I'm getting from past clients. Someone says, urine therapy has been vital with my detox process. Thank you for sharing that. Powerful times. Take advantage. Just because it's not happening to you yet. And even before Texas had power outages, little do people know, it's actually starting to spread worldwide in terms of more power outages. There's literally a graph you can look at right now. I didn't know if they did an article yet about it, but there's a graph you can look at right now that will tell you there are way more power outages. For some reason, I could care less about conspiracies. For some reason, there are more power outages happening way before even Texas even happened. And some spots, part of Texas, were already having power outages. So, goes to show you. And wait, spring equinox is around the corner, right? Someone brought up a great point when, what happens if all these ACs don't work? Breathwork. That's the one thing I noticed living here when I came to Miami. I was out in the sun. Jen couldn't take it. Jen's like turning around like, nope, I'm done with the sun. And I'm over here, I'm like, what you talking about? At least let's do some breath work. So she did some breath work with me, and she opened her eyes. I was like, how do you feel? I actually feel a lot cooler. I'm like, that's the power of the breath, guys. Underestimating this vital thing we've been given in terms of life, and a tool to help us navigate and maneuver any type of weather. I'm going to share, you may look at the Iceman as a certain way, but wait till you see people literally bathing in fire, when that should technically be our natural habitat. That's another thing Texas should teach you. Not supposed to be in cold, regardless. get back to equilibrium, to the equator. Closer to the equator, the more you can harness any type of energy. All right? All right, guys. Thank you all for sharing the breath. Much love. Oh, I met on Clubhouse. Figured you would remember me. DM me. I'm not sure. I met a lot of people on Clubhouse. But peace out, guys. Thank you for sharing the breath.
Hello, I'm Frank Roser. I'm a breathwork coach and American football coach from Germany. And I had my first breathwork session with Devin yesterday. And I just can't say it was really amazing. He showed me a new breathing technique and explained me a lot of very powerful things that gave me a very good insight. And during the breathwork, I went to some places. I was really able to go within and to relax. And the first couple of rounds were a bit difficult for me because there were some things that I never did before. But in the last 2 rounds, I just felt amazing. So I really could focus on within, what's going on within, and just relax. So Devin, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I just can recommend everybody to, do some breathwork with the breathwork guru, Devin. Thanks and all the best.